As part of my work, I use LaTeX a lot. And that is why when I stumbled upon this Python decorator called as Latexify, I was immediately hooked. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install it and then more importantly, how to use it with different examples in free Google Colab. But before that, let's have a quick look at what exactly is LaTeX because not surprisingly, many people are not aware of this amazing typesetting tool, which is really cool. So LaTeX, as I said, is a typesetting system which is used to create formatted documents, particularly in academia and scientific publishing. It's a markup language that allows the users to define the structure and layout of a document using commands and syntax. LaTeX expressions are used to represent mathematical equations, formulas, and symbols in a document. These expressions are written in a specific syntax and are then rendered as formatted equations. So if you're looking to do mathematical typesetting, document formatting, collaboration, and then this is a really good format, I would say. And Latexify just takes it to another level. And by the way, LaTeX is totally free and open source. And a fun fact, LaTeX is a portmanteau of Lamport Tex. It was developed by Leslie Lamport, and that is why his name is in there. And it was an extension of Donald Knuth's text typesetting system. And when we say portmanteau is a word created by combining two or more words and blending their sounds and meanings together. So what is Latexify? Latexify is a Python decorator, which is a special type of function that can modify or extend the behavior of another function without permanently changing it. Decorators are typically used to add additional functionality such as logging or authentication to existing functions. So that is what Latexify is. Let's try to see how it works. This is my Google Colab, as you can see on your screen. You can also access it for free by going to colab.google.com and then just log in with your free Google email account. Installation is a simple pip command. So let's install it. It's very lightweight. Next up, let's import this in our code, and I'm just using these two other libraries too, just to use them in few of the examples. But more importantly, I'm just going to go with this one and then we are checking the version. And there you go, it is using the latest version here. Now let's start our first example. So you can see that there is a solve function which I'm using, and I have just put in this Latexify over this function to make it a decorator, because solve is just nothing, it is my own function, right? So if I want to Latexify it, I'm just putting the decorator on top of it. So let's run it. So there you go. So it has just put in a number and this expression here, but wait for the magic to happen. Let me do another cell and then paste it here. Let me run this and check it out. There you go. So this is a latex expression which is coming from this expression, as you can see. And this is the beauty of this Latexify. And that is why when I saw it, I was immediately hooked. Let me show you a few more examples. And before that, let me also introduce you to the sponsors of the video, who are Camel AI. Camel is an open source community focused on building multi-agent infrastructures for finding the scaling laws of agents with applications in data generation, task automation, and world simulation. Okay, so let's carry on with our examples. And now this Latexify not only prints it in nicely, but you can also use it to obtain the underlying LaTeX expression. Sorry, I'll just go here and then add my new code here. So for example, you can just use get LaTeX function to obtain the underlying expression, and then you can even use it with some of the other functions, such as, for example, let's use it with this syncx. There you go. How good that looks. Really good stuff. And you can even go with some of the else if or nested else if, and even in the unrolling fashion. So let me run it. And this is particularly useful if you have tried to put it in your research paper. There you go. How good that looks. And even some of the math symbols especially in the Greek one, they get converted automatically. Let me show you. You see alpha, beta, gamma, and omega. There you go. So try printing it in without Latexify, and it will be really hard. And then you can also replace the function name and arguments. And let me show you what I mean. So there you go. So these are some of the identifiers where we are replacing them. I haven't really defined this, but let me run it nonetheless. So you see how the replacement was done here for the function. There is another cool thing where you can simply reduce the assignment into one expression quite easily. As you can see here, there is one expression, and then one of the cool thing is, which is especially relevant from the machine learning perspective, that it supports metrics, because at the end of the day these models are nothing but a combination and a mumbo jumbo, a huge mumbo jumbo of matrices. So for example, these are the matrices. If I run it, there you go. This is fabulous. Okay, and also if you want, it can generate an algorithmic environment instead of an equation. So what I mean here is that, for example, if you are using this algorithmic function and you run it, it is going to use generate that algorithmic environment instead of this equation. Similarly, it also supports control flows. So let me show you an example of the control flow here. So if you check this out, this is a simple function, but it is controlling the flow with a while, if, else, and all that stuff. So once I run it, there you go. So it makes it really easy to follow through. And not only this, but as I said earlier, one of the use case I use it very commonly is to document my code with LaTeX. So if you look at the LaTeX expression, this gives you a real nicely typesetted, formatted way to put in your code, especially when you are documenting it. So if you are creating a document with the code, you can create a separate section where you can put it in the LaTeX format. That makes it really stand out. So try it out. If you're especially if you're writing some sort of code documentation, you are going to love it. And if you combine this Latexify with some large language model, more than likely with a coding model, then I think this is just, so produce the code with the model, print the code in this with this Latexify. So this is going to be real cool. Try it out. Let me know how you go. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you're already subscribed, please share it among your network, as it helps a lot. Thank you for all the support.